Hey, what's up everyone, this is Jats Alex, and today I'll be doing my review of the HP touchpad. So, we'll start off with a little bit of what's on it. We got the home button down here. We got the, front-facing camera up here. We got the sleep button up here, 3.5mm jack. Left side, we got two speakers, so you got that dual stereo sound. On the right side we got the volume controls, and on the bottom we have the micro USB. On the back it's just this piano black. It really attracts fingerprints. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can see that, kind of all these fingerprints. It's really bad. But there's no back-facing camera. There's nothing. I mean, you can hate on, oh, whoa, there's no back-facing camera, but honestly, how many people are actually holding their tabs like this, taking videos outside? You don't see it that often. But, you know, I know people are still going to complain about that. So let's take a look at it. Alright, so once we open it up, it's this kind of blank background. You got your dock at the bottom, you got the WebOS icon at the top, kind of some information up at the top right, brightness, Wi-Fi, rotation, lock, that kind of stuff. You got the just type, you can type anything you want, say angry, I just misspelled it. And then it'll show you like your apps, your contacts, and then things people often use like Maps, Wiki, Twitter, and then quick launch like memos and Facebook status. If you ever get like an email, it'll show up kind of here, like a little bit like the Android software, kind of a little notification up top. But and then you click here and you got your apps, you got that come with it, you got your downloads, the apps you download, you can put favorites in here, and then you got your settings way over here. Let's see, it's a card style layout like the BlackBerry book or whatever it's called. So you get multiple things side by side, and then when you got the web browser, you can do things like stack them like so, and you can always move them around. You can put them next to each other. You can bring it back. You can put it behind it, whatever. And then you just swipe up to delete them. Let's see. One of my biggest complaints so far is that it seems to be a little low on memory. That maybe the operating system kind of is lacking, or the hardware is lacking memory, or the operating system just seems to use a lot with this kind of multitasking based operating system. But take a look at how fast it switches when you put it like this, or you know, portrait versus landscape, and you can see that. So pretty much instant. But if you get a couple things going, say internet, email, come on, calendar, photos, what else let's open up something else, and Angry Birds, is that it really slows down. You start to feel it. Look how long it takes to switch now. So, and then if you have it at a little bit of an angle, it takes forever. I have once or twice actually had like 7 or 8 things open up. I only have like 4 open up now. I actually just had to plain give up because it would not turn for me, which was very frustrating. But let's try to move on from my complaint and see what else it's got. Let's take a look at the browser. So there's nothing special about it. It's a basic browser, but let's go ahead and look up. You know, it supports Flash, so let's go look at my YouTube channel. So I just went to my YouTube channel. Let's see how long it takes to load. Not too bad, but it's not quite finished loading. Almost done. You can see the little spinning bars for the YouTube video. And there we go. And you can see down here, I don't know if you can see that, but it is staying ahead of, it's buffering, you know, farther on. And then you come down here. The pinch to zoom works very nice. No complaints. Oh, that was weird. Sometimes you get a checkerboard, but it's not. I mean, if anyone's been using these, they've improved so much compared to, like, you know, the second iPhone or something. You know, the pinch to zoom is very nice. The checkerboards, if you ever see them, I don't know why I'm seeing them. Usually I don't see them. you know, just a split second, so nothing to really complain about. Open up multiple windows, you can get them in this card view. I think I mentioned that. Kind of cool. I kind of like this style of operating system, but it doesn't actually seem to work that well, so it's got its trade-offs. But let's take a look at email. The email is pretty basic, like any other really tablet email. You can adjust what you're looking at, you know, full email, looking at your inbox, looking at multiple inboxes. Nothing special. The calendar, once again, nothing special. Got your month view. Just kind of your basic calendar. Pictures are kind of interesting because you end up with these Facebook pictures. It downloads your Facebook pictures automatically, so you don't have to, like, I guess if you wanted to Facebook stalk one of your friends, you could download their albums and look at them if you're going like on a plane or somewhere where you're not gonna have Wi-Fi. It's a little interesting idea. It automatically downloaded all my pictures from Facebook, and I would assume if you have like a Flickr account and you sign in, it would download all those too. What do we want to take a look at next? Oh, I don't have a Palm or whatever, a WebOS phone, whatever they're called, but if you do, you can have all your texts and phone calls forwarded to this, which is a little useful. Texting, you know, on this big screen, I guess if you're holding it, might as well use it. Or get your phone calls and video chats forwarded to this. A little useful. I don't know how many people actually have WebOS based phones, but you know, if you got one, I could definitely see putting it to use. Next thing I want to talk about is the Quick Office, or whatever, like it's their word processing kind of. You can't use Word on here. You can't use like Google Docs editing really. You can view your Microsoft Word, PowerPoint things, or your Google Docs like video, like your school essay or whatever, but you can't actually edit them. So if we go to here, look at my Google Docs, and this is my Samsung review, it'll open it up, but we can't actually edit it. So I'll try to show you in a second. It's just a look. We can go up here and print it if you have one of the new HP based web printers or whatever they're called, those cloud printers. But I think you can also send like an email. You can send this as an email to like a friend, but you can't bring up the keyboard. You can copy, but you can't actually bring up a keyboard and edit stuff. I did find that you can actually go to the internet and log into your Gmail and go over to Google Docs, but that only works so well. It's not quite so fluid. It doesn't work as well as it could. Next thing I want to talk about is the apps, and they'll probably have an app hopefully soon that will support Microsoft Word or at least Google Docs editing. I believe they should. You know, iPad has one. I believe the Android ones have one. They'll probably come out with one soon. But the apps are lacking. There's a couple thousand, but there's not, you know, the millions or hundreds of thousands. It's also a little confusing just from, see how this says HD, this one says touchpad, this one says HD. Well, some of them don't say HD but actually are HD. It's a little confusing what actually uses the full screen. If you don't, if you get one that's not like HD or tablet, you end up with this little thing like an iPad or, you know, kind of any other tablet, but you can't, there's no way to zoom in, there's no ×2, you can't make it giant and pixelated, and that's a little annoying. I like to use my full screen. That's why I got this thing. Come on. See, now it doesn't want to turn sideways. There we go. And but apps are decent. There's a fair amount of good apps. There's some good games, kind of unique games that I actually haven't seen on the other platforms. So that's kind of fun, but it is limited. There's not a million games. If we take a quick look at the games, paid games, you'll recognize many of these, but you know, chess doesn't usually make it for $3 to the top of an app store, of the App Store, the Android Marketplace. So it's a little different, but decent. And then let's see, did I cover everything? Of course I'll leave out something, you guys will leave it in the comments, but oh, one thing I actually, on a side note, is that I can't seem to find a weather app that is a HD or tablet, and they're all miniature. I've downloaded 4 or 5 that just don't seem to do it. Oh, last thing I'm going to talk about, 2 things actually, is that it does have emulators, which is kind of fun for those people who love those emulator games. Get your Super Nintendo and Nintendo, what is it, 64, whatever, get your emulators going, which is kind of fun. I'm not a big person of those, so I don't actually have any games installed, but you do have that option. And the very last thing I want to talk about is the HP Movie Store, which you can download, but actually isn't anything yet. It says they'll have movies very soon. I think they're trying to, really compete, so they really need something like this to come out. And yeah. My final thoughts are that it is nice because you can get your music on here pretty nice with the HP software, your iTunes Plus music, your any DMR, whatever it's called, free music. That it does support Flash on like the iPad. That it does have this kind of WebOS operating system, which I am a fan of. Got your things side by side, but not everyone's a fan of that. You have to kind of decide or test one in a store, play with it. I kind of am a fan of it, but then you do have to keep in mind is I was having to deal with a lot of lag, which was very frustrating. It kind of made me mad. But it is decent. Would I recommend it? I'd recommend it if it was $100 cheaper maybe. It's a little pricey at the price of $500. Maybe $400 I would recommend. And if you have a WebOS phone and you really like that, I think you should get this. But if you don't have a WebOS phone, you really should take a look at other options. But don't X this off. I think it's kind of up to the person, whether you want to go with like an Android or WebOS based tablet. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe so you don't miss the Toshiba tab unboxing and review in a couple days. And I'll probably have some more kind of thoughts and reviews on this and just everything in the future. And see you guys later.